Naraka is dying and it is by no means hidden. Player numbers are on an all-time low, a stagnant meta for over 6 months, and multiple characters are basically dead for years. Together with increased monetization and no tournament support, can we even call this a live Souls game? This video will lay out all of the most important issues the game has been facing. We'll try to be as objective as possible. I enlisted community support by public discussion on Reddit and asked multiple pro players and content creators for their opinion. With all of this, I hope we can finally address all of the issues that are plaguing the game we all love and want to see succeed. This is the state of Naraka Bladepoint.
Building.
What the fuck is going on?
Danke gegen Zoll. Ja, Alter. Oh, ist das gemein. Die steht aber in der Luft rasiert die ganze Zeit. Gegen Zoll, was ist denn los? Der gegen Zoll.
About something that I think shouldn't be on Steam. I think Steam should remove this game. Naraka Bladepoint is the name of the game. It requires you to turn off security features on your computer just to get it to play.
Yes, Naraka has its fair share of issues, and I will address them in a second. However, I do want to point out that it's not all that bad. The game is playable right now, and for many people, they probably don't even have an issue. However, we can clearly see the game dying off, not only because of new games releasing, but also by the practices that have been tried for years and years. They're just not working. Just look at Twitch tracker, just look at how the game is performing on Steam. This is not a video to trash on the game, it merely tries to point out issues and inform everyone if they should give the game a try in 2025 and beyond, or if they should still keep playing. When asking the community, I noted a generally negative sentiment, and we have to consider this is Reddit, and posts like mine will ultimately attract more critics than people who just don't care or find it positive. However, the biggest issues for the player base seem to be Number 1, ranked and matchmaking. Number 2, skins and prices. And number 3, marketing. While I will address all of these, I do also want to look at the game as a whole and point out things that I personally think need to be addressed. But I'd say let's get started with number 1, overall game design. Here I want to focus on how everything as a whole is designed, and I do really like the Wuxia inspired graphics, and even the future skins. However, the UI is terrible, especially in the menu. It feels all cluttered and unorganized. Stuff like bias behavior feels valueless, abandoned, and perform really bad. Tabs or gameplay are also pretty unorganized. While performance has been getting better, low and mid-end PCs still struggle a lot playing, especially in trios where it's not too uncommon even for me to go under 120 FPS with a pretty decent rig and on low settings. But I think the biggest issue here is the multiple game modes. Right now, we have solo, duos, trios quick play, solo, duos, trios ranked, solo, trios immortal war, spiritual, PvE, custom matches, lobby interactables, you name it. This is splitting the player base into so many pieces that queue times are rising. Immortal war is still being split off from ranked, and only queuable for a few hours a day doesn't help this either. Monetization is also getting more and more shameless, new currencies appearing every season, €300 skins, hair, FOMO everywhere. Yes, they're nice event skins and you get a lot of things for free and nice discounts, but it does get overwhelming sometimes. On the flip side, we have seen some good improvements in terms of performance, especially with the recent frame rate changes. While there's still a lot of ambiguity, enforcement of bans has picked up and hopefully will become more stricter and faster in the future. Number 2, match design. And this part will include both matchmaking and how rounds play out. Matchmaking is in a bad place right now, mostly due to the lower player base, especially at the higher ranks. Often you queue into 4 divisions of ranked in a single match, but at certain times there's basically always 1 or 2 players who win 80% of the time, just due to the skill difference. The rank system is broken too, with high, even low lobbies rewarding you with 10 points for big games and 50 points for basically nothing in others. This is done to balance out the player base, but has led to basically zero reason to care about rank once you hit like a thrower. Especially with the low skill ceiling lobbies often still having top players in them, this is incredibly frustrating. Mode was also unplayable 3 weeks after release each season, and the other game modes on the site are basically dead most of the times too. Matches themselves also feel broken, often ending very early in solos or duos, with the same people just dominating every time. However, this is still the strong point of the game, with having so many different ways to approach fighting, looting and moving across the map, especially with the new Spirit Line feature. But many of these things are not quite there yet in terms of implementation into the gameplay flow, it does look promising for the future. Number 3. Hero designs. And no one will ever agree that a certain meta is good, and recent changes have basically done nothing to displace the 6-month-old meta. This is mostly due to heroes designs seemingly being forced to do everything from healing themselves, combo breaking and starting, having busted ultimates, you name it. Together with nerfs of older character, or not even buffing certain abilities, like Yoto F1 for 3 years, this creates a very frustrating and stale gameplay experience. While the devs are seemingly trying to fix some of these exploits and infinites, it does seem incredibly selective and breaks core parts of the game that many people enjoy, like long combos. However, recently there seems to be more parts moving to create a more stable vision of the game, with frame rate changes for combos and the removal of unfair combos or infinites. However, the uncertainty of where this will end is generally received negatively. The seemingly increasing bias towards some characters is also shown on skins. Characters like Yoto, Takeda or Yuashan are basically forgotten by the skins department, while Taka, Viper and Farrier seemingly get 2 new skins every week. Number 4. Marketing. And honestly, we've seen basically zero improvement on this front, and just seems like there's zero chance we'll ever get a successful marketing push in the West. Yes, some big content creators have been playing the game for a stream, making some good money and then just leaving. They are like daily shorts on YouTube channel, but it's just not working and hasn't been working for a long while. Honestly, I'm more impressed by the Discord marketing, by the community mods hosting new events every week. I don't know why there's no switch in their approach, but this is not even the worst. Even stuff for the community is getting less, with no scrims happening despite being announced to have started in May and just not having happened so far. But, and this will maybe get me some enemies, the Naraka community is incredibly bad in content creation themselves. I understand the hesitation to put a lot of time into a video that will barely get 1,000 views, as the game just isn't as popular, but the variety in content is close to zero. Mostly just clip dumps with the same CapCut effects over and over again, sometimes a tutorial here and there, and highlights from scrims like I used to do. Maybe 1 or 2 people have even tried making more creative content, not focused on cool clips at all consistently. No unranked to unrival with new characters, no game shows, no nothing. This is where we have to improve. There's a lot of opportunities for content creations. If you have any ideas, please hit me up. In the back I've been conceptualizing a way better way for creators to connect and do content, but it's really hard to implement alone. I really need your help. Lastly, the community. The community has gotten more toxic, at least according to me and some other people on Reddit. This may be because of a lack of new content and increasing frustration, but at some point it really has taken a turn for the worse. Examples like the bullying of the best player tryhard for no reason, Discord servers filled with insults, you name it, you'll find it. Naraka used to be a shining example of helping each other out, helping new players improve, and a good sense of community, but it has been eroding for a while. However, I do still believe there's a lot of great examples in the community and I want to highlight some. First, Savayo and Taki, and all of BWG for continuing to host scrims so the competitive community doesn't die out, and especially Taki for creating an awesome tool to manage these scrims with. Naraka is also hosting regular Build-War games, keeping that mode alive I guess. Many of the people who do tutorials like Longnotes, Lexon, and of course Raven PSC for their big breakdowns to the Chinese pro scene. But you guys would still try to learn 211. And all of the official Naraka bots, especially in the Discord and the livestream, who keep the community under control, host events and predictions. They've been a pleasure to work with as well. And honestly, there's so many more people, I can really not name them all. I want to end the video on a positive note. Many have been doom posting about the death of Naraka for a while. There are a lot of issues too. I do believe Naraka can and will recover. The game is still perfectly playable on most occasions, and while I did just criticize the community for toxicity, most of us are still very open to new people, and everyone will help you out, may even play with you if you just ask nicely. I hope you liked the video, and if you have any comments, please leave them down. I am willing to discuss with you on pretty much every topic in this video. I'm not perfect, and my opinions are not perfect by any means. We have to work together to make the game perfectly playable for everyone and make it the best game out there, and that can only happen with discussion, discussion, discussion. If you want to check out some of the creators I mentioned, I put them all down in the video's description. Also, thank you for everyone to answering my Reddit thread, it really helped me make this video. With that, I wish you a happy rest of your day and maybe see each other in the game soon.